It's your boy Crypto Blood, feeling like whoa. What's going on, people? Another day, another dollar. Hope your morning is going well. Today we're going to talk about some like macroeconomic factors that I feel, and I'll give you kind of my experience in Bitcoin going back to almost when I got into Bitcoin. The particular event I'm going to talk about kind of relates to what's going on today in this article that I picked, that came across my desk, and I'm like, let's talk about this, because really, man, to be honest with you, to see the numbers that Clif is projecting or predicting in his predictive linguistics, of next year being around where I think 13,000, something like that. To see that type of move, granted, it wouldn't be the biggest move that we've seen in Bitcoin, but in a dollar basis and dollar terms, that's a lot of capital coming in, being that Bitcoin is around 96 billion, I believe. So to see us go from, we're at let's just say 6,000, to see us go from 6,000 to 13,000, that's another 96 billion dollars coming into the market. So I just feel like to get to those numbers, we have to have some external events that trigger this. It won't be anything internal, because Bitcoin, all things equal, everything else equal, the ecosystem of cryptocurrencies is what it is. No new money can be created per se, other than the money that's created through mining. But even that money isn't enough in this short time span for us to go from 6,000 Bitcoin to 13,000. Any forks or anything like that still won't get us there. So outside capital is going to rush in, and that is the only way we're going to see those types of numbers. So I think we're starting to line up a lot of things in the EU, even here in the States. It's all lining up for us to see a $13,000 Bitcoin. So let's just go over a couple things real quick. All right, so check out this coin market cap really quickly, as I was just speaking. Bitcoin's market cap is at actually 95 billion, not 96. I'm sorry, but its dominance is up, way up, 55.9, almost 56% BTC dominance. So looking good. We're slowly creeping back up to that 6,000, the all-time high again. 58-ish, 59-ish, depending on what exchange you were looking at it on. But looking good. So again, today's article is about Hartford, Connecticut, and this is out of Zero Hedge, actually. So what this article is talking about is essentially Moody's, not Reuters, but Moody's is saying that Hartford could default on its debt as soon as next month. That is crazy, people. So let's take a look at this article. So Moody's latest warning about Hartford, Connecticut is its most dire yet. In a report issued Thursday, the ratings agency's analysis said Hartford, Connecticut's once proud capital city, could default on its debt as soon as next month, forcing the capital of the country's wealthiest state on a per capita basis into bankruptcy. If the city doesn't change course, and given its shrinking tax base and departure of last year Aetna, a major insurance company that was founded in Hartford and had located its headquarters in the city for more than 150 years, reforms appear unlikely. Receive a state bailout or strike some kind of deal with its creditors. Moody's says lenders can expect it to run up annual deficits in excess of $60 million through the next 20 years. Just as a side note, I'm in Detroit, right? And many of you know that we filed for bankruptcy a few years ago, and you know, it wasn't the first. I don't think it was the first city that filed for bankruptcy. Maybe I'm wrong. I think there was one other city in California that did it first. But we're starting to see, you know, things slowly crackling. You know, it's starting to really show this debt-based system, this debt-based monetary system is starting to really show. And I think the first crack that we saw was, of course, in 08, right? But if you take, for instance, Detroit, a lot of why we got into the situation we were in was because of Wall Street and them selling us dreams, basically, just how they did Greece, you know, the Greek people. So it's Wall Street is a cancer, man, and this system that they've made so much money off of is really starting to break down. So that's just kind of a side note. I just wanted to mention that, you know, Detroit went through this, and now it looks like Hartford, Connecticut is going through it, and we're going to see more and more. Illinois is in a just, I don't even know how they're even operating. Like, Illinois is very close to me. I go to Chicago a lot, but they're so bad. They actually stopped their either Mega Million or Powerball lottery. So you can't even play that in the state of Illinois anymore because they can't operate it. They're broke. So we're going to start seeing this trend accelerate, and I think this is part of the catalyst to see cryptocurrencies just go through the moon. So let's finish reading this article, and then I'll get into really another part of this that I wanted to talk about. So it says here, Moody's downgraded Hartford's credit rating on September 26 to CAA3 from CAA1. So I don't even think you can go any lower than CAA3, if I'm not mistaken, how the grade or whatnot goes. So reflecting a view that creditors would only manage to recoup between 60% and 80% of their principal should Hartford default. So this is crazy, man. I also want to actually read. I want to show you guys this chart. So this chart is showing you back to 2015 up until now. It looks like. Look at this this yield. This is crazy. Just since June, basically. You know, look at the yield. It has skyrocketed. So if some of you don't understand what this means, so when you see like a yield on a bond going up, that's a very bad sign. That's telling us that you know, to borrow money, or basically for Hartford to borrow money, it's the market is demanding more interest on that yield on that bond note, on that T bond. So it's crazy because it's a cycle, right? So if they already don't have money and they need money, they need to borrow money to cover their expenses, it's costing them more money to borrow money. So it's just kind of like a cycle that they'll end up getting themselves into where they won't be able to get out of. So this reminds me, I don't know how long a lot of you have been a lot of my subs have been in Bitcoin, but I remember when I got into Bitcoin late 2012. This reminds me, in I think it was 2013, Cyprus. You guys may remember the Cyprus event, but Cyprus had basically a banking meltdown, and they froze all not deposits, but you couldn't take any money out of the banks. All you could do is, like, I believe, like 300 euro. I don't know if it was a day or a week, but anyhow, this was like in 2013, maybe almost summer, springish. And I was in Bitcoin. I got into Bitcoin in late 2012, and man, Bitcoin like almost did like a 150% like flip. It went up that much. And at that point, Bitcoin was already at like $70 or something like that, 75 bucks. So you can imagine back then they were calling we won't believe this. They were calling Bitcoin a bubble. Then they were saying that at 75, 150 bucks, 200 bucks, this, you know, how could one Bitcoin be 200 times more than the dollar, right? So it was all these CNBC pundits, it was crazy. But I understood the concept of Bitcoin right away when I read that article. I think it was on Zero Hedge. I knew it right away, and went and bought Bitcoin for the first time right after reading that article. It was like 2-3 o'clock in the morning. But I can go over that story again in a later video. But I just say all that to say that is the catalyst that we're going to need to see, and we will see, I believe. Again, Cyprus at that point in 2013 had frozen, you know, all their banks had you know, the liquidity had seized up, couldn't lend, couldn't do anything. And what it was crazy, because I remember this. A lot of the billionaire oligarchs, the billionaires from Russia, actually hid a lot of their money in Cyprus. And they were able to, this is crazy, they were able to get their money out before it all kind of got locked up. So a lot of money, capital flowed out of Cyprus and their banks, and that's kind of what caused them to have to halt all withdrawals, because as we know, and I can leave a link to the video about fractional reserve banking, it only takes a little bit of money to be pulled out of the system for it to be over. So a lot of Russians pulled their money, caused Cyprus like a big issue. They had to ring fence Cyprus, the ECB did, and it was a hot mess, man. Let me know, any of you who were, even if you weren't in Bitcoin, do you remember that time period? It was crazy. So again, we're gonna see that. We're gonna see, and we're gonna see either in the States. I don't think it's going to happen in the United States. I don't think the catalyst is going to be here in the States. I think it's going to be the EU, ECB. Something in the EU is one of the countries. Spain is already effed up. Italy's already effed up. Portugal is effed. Like all these banks in these different countries in the EU are just holding on by a thread. So in my opinion, I believe by the end of this year, mark my word, by the end of this year, we will have another banking crisis, sovereign debt crisis that will be the gasoline, the catalyst to have new capital flows into cryptocurrencies. So just mark my word on that, people. You heard it first from Crypto Blood. But yeah, that's pretty much it. Let me know what you guys think about Hartford, Connecticut, their situation. Do any of you live in Illinois? I'm sure if you do, you know about that situation. And let me know anywhere else in the country, in the United States, what's going on. Even if I got subs overseas, let me know, you know, some stories and stuff I didn't hear about in your, you know, local municipalities and stuff. Let me know, so we can kind of get a gauge on what's going on. So I just want you guys to start keeping an ear open for these types of events, to kind of just put a mental marker in your head to understand how everything is going to tie in together, and that'll be to me, that'll be the catalyst to see us hit 13,000 and beyond in Bitcoin. And like Clif said, when he responded to me, you know, a lot of these other over 100 altcoins are going to be chasing at the price of ETH. I don't know if it's the price of ETH today or if it's the price of ETH in the future. So either way, hell, if it's at 300, a lot of these alts, 300, 200, 400, boy, we living good. Everything will be all right, I'm telling you. So let me know again your thoughts on everything. Make sure you come on into the Webbot room. I'll leave the link of that in the description of this video. Also, if you guys have any questions, want to ask me personal questions kind of offline, hit me up on cryptoblood.io and hit that contact us or contact me form. Let me see, am I forgetting anything else? That's pretty much it, people. It's your boy Crypto Blood. Have a great day, and I'll holler at y'all tomorrow. Peace.